to 0.3 mm bore size. So this is the one that. The important thing here I would like to enhance is try your best to contact our sales guy to do a demo, because we have a machine, can bring the machine to your factory and then do a testing on your product. Then you will know how sensitive or how good is our machine to detect a small contamination. Then we come to the compliance. All the tablet machines, we will come in a EQ pack. We call it equipment qualifications pack. So the EQ pack, basically EQ pack consists of the following qualifications. Important thing, EQ pack is to validate is in the process, not only in the equipment, but also in the process. So this EQ pack will come with hard copy and also a soft copy, and then to do the initial qualifications, highlight responsible and benefit to you, and we will do the installation qualification IQ, followed by the OQ, we call it operation qualification, and the PQ, performance qualification PQ, the equipment optimizations, operating training, and ongoing performance verification agreement. So all the data, all the detail, we will fill in this EQ pack. And beside that, we also have appendix sections for our service personnel to key in all the detail, like visit report, performance verification certificate. Each time we do a performance certificate verification, a certificate will issue, and also the equipment certification we will issue. All this equipment or document actually is very useful when you are external auditor to visit during audit time. Then the recommended spare part, test sample will come with a certified test sample certificate. Then all the customer training certificate, whoever training, we also will key into this documentation. Then key contact and customer feedback. So another compliance will be the 21 CFR Part 11. So under this 21 CFR Part 11, they got two levels. The first level does not fully comply with the requirement of 21 CFR Part 11, as it is allowed the installer or personnel are responsible for assigning account code to have visibility of individual code. Means that whatever password you are keying, your personnel or your supervisor will know your password, or some other people will know your password. So it's not fully compliant to the 21 CFR Part 11. And our machine, Tablet Pro, we have this called level 2, 21 CFR Part 11 authentications method. Does fully comply, as is allow each user, once they have been given access right to change the individual password when they log in for the first time. So means that the first time your supervisor will give you your password, then after that, once you go in, you have to change your password to your own password, and nobody know. So this is to comply the level 2. Okay. This something we call it like our ATM card or bank card. When initially the bank give you a card with the password. So once you go to the bank, you put in the ATM, you have to change to your own password. That is a password that nobody knows except you. So this is the thing that we have. Okay. So you need detail on this, please contact our sales guy locally. Then they will give you a more detail on this. This is how they call it level 1, 21 CFR Part 11. They key in the 21 CFR and then key username, your password, and then you go to your setting, and this will be password that everybody will know. The second level, we call it level 2. Once you go in your level 2, then your username and password, initially your supervisor will give you the username and password. Later, after this, you have to change your password to your own password that nobody will know. So this is one of the fully compliance under 21 CFR Part 11 level 2. So like here, if you know other language, because for this profile method detector, we have 33 languages. If you know other language, you can just key in or assign the language that you know, then it will be prompt out once you key in your password. So now I just want to show you how it works by using the simulator. Just hold on for a while. I change it to the simulator. Can anyone see the simulator? Anyone can see the simulator?
Yeah, we can see, Pak.
Okay, good. Okay, so basically this is, we call it Tablet Pro metal detector. Okay, the first one we can see is the green light of 2. This is the plus minus 15 volt to know whether the machine is working or not working. And whatever when product passing through, you can see when product passing through, this is the signal it will show you. Once it reach over the 11 bar, that means the detection bar. This is the detection bar, so it will show you its detection. Okay, then we have a password. We have password for operator. We have a password for supervisor. We have password for engineer. We have password for QC. So all will be a different password. But at this moment, all the password everybody will know because it's not under 21 Sierra Part 11 yet. So later I will show you under 21 Sierra Part 11. So the second one will be, this is your product, running product. And then your code, your batch. Basically, if they say you want to key in a new one, you just go in, key a new one, and then you can change to your product code. Let's say product code, you can have a capital, or you can have a small letter, or you can have a number. So everything you can change it, and then also batch code. Okay. Then the third one will be reject count. Reject count means that whatever reject, when it reject, the counter will accumulate. This reject, the counter will accumulate. But if the good product go in, the reject count won't increase. Then this is the good things to reduce your waste and to reduce your fault trigger. You can see the signal strength. If you know that all the time your product passing through is quite low, that means less than 50%. Okay, means that your sensitivity can be increased because the product signal is quite less. So you still can increase. But if your product sensitivity or your product signal is always come to the 80%, 90%, then in this case, you don't increase your sensitivity anymore. Because when you increase sensitivity again, then your fault reject will be more. So that will be a waste for you. And also this is a real time. If every time your product coming in is a very good product, and then you don't have the product signal too much, that means that you can increase your sensitivity without any fault trigger. But if your product signal is large, means that your product signal is big, and then you do not increase your sensitivity anymore. So from here, this machine from here, it can see all the signal and surrounding you, and this is the thing that to set your optimum sensitivity without any fault trigger. This is the thing that can increase or improve your OEE. And this is the one that we call it PVR, Performance Verification Routine. So for this case, if let's say you have the time due, then you just key in your password and then do the product test. So ferrous, okay, ferrous 0.2, ferrous you just put in 0.2, okay, detect. And then non-ferrous 0.2, non-ferrous, detect. And stainless steel 0.3316, detect. So means all detected, then performance testing complete. So this is how you do the performance test. Okay. Then another one good thing we call condition monitoring. This is the best of the best because most of the metal detector, if they have any issue or they have any machine got some problem or environment got some problem to force the performance down, here will show you whether your machine is healthy or your machine got problem. And what we call it is to protect before it break down. So if let's say anything wrong with this machine, any parameter wrong with this machine, so early warning will appear. So early warning will appear means that your machine is still running perfect, but it is time for you to plan your downtime, for you to plan your shutdown time, to ask the service guy to come and do a repairing or come and do a checking. So from here, you see early warning, you press this one, you can see early warning 1. So basically, we have all 4 early warning 1 to early warning 4. So early warning 1 talk about power drive, 2 talk about phase angle, and then amplitude, and also the phase. Okay, so all this one, once you have any issue, you just press this one, and then you can see what is the early warning, and then you can call our guys. Then they will bring the correct spare to come and do a checking. Then it will cut down the downtime. So this is condition monitoring, not like the old type or previous type. Once you have any problem, then the whole machine already down. Because nowadays, most of the metal detector is under CCP, so it cannot have downtime. Once it's down, the whole line have to stop. You cannot operate at all. So this is a good condition monitoring to tell you that your machine is still in a good condition or in a bad condition. And then user log. Whoever going in, it will show you. Just now QA go in, then you will see what time, what date, who log in. Okay, for example, now I go into the user 2. So user 2 will say that, okay, this date, this time, who log in, user 2. So you will know, you can check. All this one is a 25 login. Then after that, it will be first come, first out. Okay, then the second one will be detection log. Detection log also depend on the two different sides. One is under QC, when you do performance verification test, then under green light, it will show you this is a performance test. And if that's a real contamination, then it will show you red. So this is real contamination. This is a PV testing or QC come and do a performance test. So also show you what is a peak. Peak means that what is the red light, red bar. Maximum, what is the date, what is the time? Okay. Then we call it PML. If they say your machine is running, so it's execute. Once machine is stopped, then it will go to suspend. And then this one usually will be in a control room, the center control room. They would like to install this one to see whether which product is running or not running. Okay, which line is running or which line is not running based on this one. And also we can show you the OEE. Okay, if your product is coming in and in a good product, you can see if you're a good product, then your quality, your OEE will just increase. But once you got the detection, contamination, then your quality will drop, and your OEE also will drop. And finally is when you want to have this connectivity, then we can just link this one to your PC through our ProX, or you can through other printer or SBU port. Okay, this is the normal one. Now we go to 21 CFR Part 11. Okay, so but before that, I would like to do something is, and now I create new user. I create new user. Then later you will see you have to change it. Let's say for first one, we put city. Okay. Account username is not sensitive. Okay. So let it be user 1. Then the password will be his English. He know English, and then 1004. So this 1004 is for this operator. Okay, then we create another one. This one we use north. Okay. Then for this one we give user 3. So the password will be 1005. Okay. And now we go to QC. So for QC also we create some new password for them. So let's say this is Sue, for example, and then operator, and then English, or maybe this lady know how to use. She want to have Indonesian language, so we just change it to Indonesia language. Okay, Indonesia language. Password is 1006. And another one. Let's say this guy is Mu. Okay. Let's say for example. Then let's say this guy is from Thailand. Let's say he only know Thailand language. So we change it to Thailand language. Thai language. Okay. Okay. So now what we do is we change this one to 21 CFR Part 11. From standard, we change it to 21 CFR. So now, username, you key in the first one, just now we key in the city. Alphabet or small or big is not sensitive, so it should be okay, it will be okay. So the password, initially password is 100004. Okay, so new password maybe key in 123 QWE. So this is a city, his own password. So his own password. Sorry. Okay, so city is only user one. The new password. They say 456 RTY. So now it's user 3. Just how we know user 3. What he can do auto setup. Okay. He also can do change the product, key in the code, and also they can change the product to select which product they want to test. Okay, and also can reset the counter, and also can set the reject time. So this is for no. Now we go to QC. For QC, just now the first one we key in is Sue. So the Sue initial password is 1007. Initial password is 100006. This initial password, and then now he have to change to his new password. Let's say 890QP. Enter to confirm again. Then 890IOP. So this is what Su no, because he want to use bahasa Indonesia. So this is bahasa Indonesia, uji performa. So he say, okay, besi, then he press besi is 0.2, then he pass through besi. So detect, then this one, you can see change to rate. You see this one, if let's say it didn't detect, this icon cannot change to rate. So you got no choice, you have to press wrong. Then after, when you have a printer or you have in connectivity to the PC, it will print out non-ferrous field. But if let's say you are using manually, then whatever thing you can just alter, you can change. So it's not fully proof. So a lot of time what we do is we say that the best way is do link to the connectivity, or like our case ProX. Okay. So anti-karat 316 detect. When it detect, you see this icon will change to red. So pengujian performance selesai. And then let's say for Mu, the initial password the supervisor give him is 100007. So he changed to his own password. And he is Thai people, so all the Thai come out, all the Thai language come out. So he or she will know how to do it. So do it one, okay, detect. So you can change to red. Second one, non-ferrous, detect, and stainless steel, detect. So for PVR test complete. So this is a wonderful of 21 CFR Part 11, okay, and level 2, complete, fully compliant to level 2. Okay, now we go back to our presentation. Okay, then we will talk about some topical applications. Okay, some topical application. You can see most of the tablet machine, metal detector or pharma GF metal detector, usually they will use after immediately the tablet press. Okay, so after tablet press, they will go through metal detector, or sometimes they will go through deduster before they go to metal detector. Okay, you can see this is some of the application. And this is a pharmaceutical inspections powder. This is in the powder form. So usually you can see a quite small and unique. Okay, and then the ingredient or the API after mixing, it will drop and then will check. Then immediately will go to another one. So usually will be something like this. See, and you can see here will be going to the metal and then go to the metal detector. And this is some of the application. And some customer, they would like in one set, means that the deduster followed by the metal detector. So it will be go to the deduster, after the deduster, and then go to the metal detector to check the complete thing. Okay. Before we stop, I will show you a video. This video is we're talking about the complete testing on this machine. This is the pharmaceutical from Germany. One of the case study on this is under Rottendorf Pharma, Germany. So contamination less than 0.3 mm can be really detected and rejected. You can see temper press, metal detector, deduster. TAPRE Pro support compliance. The new CFR Part 11, Part 211 and 201 to 210. And all the machine will come with the EQ pack. Okay, I finished today's presentation. Erwin, do we want to do a Q&A now or we do a Q&A later?
We will do Q&A later, Pak.
Okay, then the question also later, or you want me to show them now?
Maybe later better. It's okay.
Okay. So I pass the line to you back. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ya, so Ibu Bapak dan sekalian, sekali lagi kita akan lanjutkan ke session selanjutnya untuk webinar hari ini, pembahasan tentang materi Dynamic Check Wire dari Ken Lo. Ken Lo adalah sales manager dari Singapore team yang akan memberi Ibu Bapak sekalian tentang check wire yang digunakan di aplikasi untuk Pharma. Jika nanti Bapak Ibu ada pertanyaan atau ingin mengetahui lebih detail tentang produk ini, kita juga akan men-share dari PowerPoint-nya. Kemudian juga jika ada pertanyaan bisa langsung ditanyakan di akhir session. Kita sediakan nanti kurang lebih 10 menit di akhir waktu untuk dapat Ibu tanyakan atau Bapak tanyakan. Tapi jika ada pertanyaan yang sifatnya ingin detail, bisa tolong diketik di chatting area, chatting room-nya untuk bisa kami follow up segera. Baik, terima kasih. Ken, please continue to have this second webinar on your side. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Okay. Erwin, can you see my slides?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, can. Okay. So, no, it's on. Good morning, everyone. Selamat pagi. Okay, so I'm Ken. I'm from Mallet Toledo, Singapore. So I've been supporting Indonesia for the past 10 years. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is more on the check wire for pharmaceuticals. So the agenda will be more into check wire for pharma. What are the weight cell technologies? Some of the options, in order to enhance productivity for pharma check wire. Of course, also a little bit on the beyond CFR Part 11 compliance, and followed by the Q&A. Okay, so introduction. In terms of currently, the competitive marketplace. I'm sorry. So check wire has become more important, in order to help manufacturers from pharmaceuticals to comply with international regulations. In general, is that check wire basically is actually a high effective tool. Mainly to actually achieve, the maximum reliability, process efficiency, return on investment, and at the same time deliver safe product, and basically to use in conjunction with the quality control program or a food safety, or these pharmaceuticals safety program. So an accurate check weigher basically has the capacity, to basically produce more safe product in a lesser time. It should be able to detect open flaps and SQ product. So this one I will give more explanation later. So in order to protect the downstream equipment, simplify your process in terms of changing over, the product in your production. It should be able to increase the line efficiency by eliminating force reject, because I think in check weigher, force reject is also one of the issues that many people are actually facing, and of course to report production data. Okay, so this is a short introduction. So the check weigher for pharma, basically this is example of check weigher that's actually used in pharmaceuticals industry. So what it uses is basically, of course, is to weigh items as they pass through the production line, classification into different weight zones. Okay, at the same time reject non-conforming. So non-conforming can be weight, can also be just how we mentioned about the flap, can be SQ, and many more. And of course, you will be able to weigh 100% on the item. Okay, so because pharmaceuticals are basically consumed by people like us, so it's important to ensure that every single project, 100% of them, 100% of the product are being weighed to ensure that it's actually meet the manufacturer's requirement. So this is a home screen of one of our C-series check weigher. So what you see over here basically is, of course, you will see the mean value from the main screen. You can also see the statistics and as well as the zone classification in terms of the weight. So at any point of time when you click into any of these, you can actually see more information. But I will not go into too details on this. I think this one we can do it offline. But what we will see basically on a statistics is something we call the pharma statistics. So in terms of pharmaceuticals, statistics data-wise will be much different from the others. What you expect to see is basically, of course, some of these like class counter readings. Important things is to look at the standard deviation to make sure that your production, in terms of the weight of the product, doesn't deviate out too much. Important things is basically it can actually identify in terms of like article number, order number, and batch number. So this is normally used a lot in pharmaceuticals because I guess there's a lot of traceability in place. So you need to actually know exactly what are all these products in terms of these classifications. Of course, the time and date of the production, as well as the final evaluation of batch. Lastly is, of course, the parameter modification. So later we'll talk something about audit trail. So what are the old and new value? What are the modification done by who? So this is basically specific for pharma. So this statistics program will be available in our check weighers. Okay, so as a summary of what is the typical use of a check weigher in the pharma, of course, just I mentioned about over underweight few product, missing components. In fact, check weigher when it started in pharmaceuticals is actually not for weighing the product itself, but it's actually for finding the missing leaflets. Because in terms of the leaflets, that is where the instructions and then the guidelines of the pharmaceuticals in terms of like, allergy and all this, which actually is actually a matter of death and life and death. So that's why finding the missing leaflets is actually one of the mandatory requirements in terms of pharmaceuticals for the check weigher. And of course, pharmaceuticals uses check weigher also in terms of finding, like, for example, missing blister within a folding box. Some of these typical application. And also, of course, classification of product into different weight zone. So if you're producing like powder, if you're producing in terms of liquid, if you're selling in terms of weight, then you can actually use a check weigher, to classify the product into different weight zone as well. You can use it for process optimization. You can actually use it to measure and report production line efficiency. So like, for example, what is the OEE of the equipment? How they affect the OEE of your complete line? What is the total weight, total count, standard deviation, and so forth. So lastly, of course, it actually provides the documentation to meet the legal requirements. So can it be GMP? It can be 20M CFR Part 11. It can be net content control where you have OIML. So basically the Chatware will be able to provide this. Okay, so next we goes into weight cell technologies. There are some videos. I don't know whether you all can see it, but let me just show it to you. So this is basically so you can see that this is a very low speed weighing. Okay, it's basically manually feed. It's actually a pharmaceuticals product. Okay, so of course we call that a low speed. I think that's about it. So the other one, on the other way around, is actually a high speed weighing. So if you look at it, this is also a folding box, which is a pharma product. So it's actually running at 300 pieces per minute. Okay, so I fast forward a bit so that you can see the rejection. Okay. So at this page, you can see that it's actually still able to check effectively on the actual so-called affected product. So you see that these are two typical, pharmaceuticals requirement, but using different type of Chatware, and of course because of the speed, because of the product handling, and so forth. So okay, over here basically I mentioned is that recommended is actually strain gauge. So what is strain gauge? Later I will explain more about this. So strain gauge load cells are mainly used for, first of all, a very slow application, and of course in terms of the accuracy will not be as good as the EMFR. So EMFR are usually used for high speed, and when the product needs a lot of products needs a stability in terms of the weighing, basically EMFR will be used. Okay. So strain gauge load cell. So in the market, basically there's strain gauge load cells and as well as electromagnetic force restoration or compensation. Some of them talk about this. So these are the two different type of load cells. Okay, so in terms of Chatware, doesn't mean that there's only one type of load cells. There's actually these two types. So basically the strain gauge is basically a simple and reasonably accurate weight cells. For EMFR, basically is very fast and highly accurate application. So how strain gauge load cell works is that this is basically a normal load cells. So it works on actually Wheatstone bridge. So if you are in, like, for example, electrical engineering, you will know that Wheatstone bridge basically uses a resistance. So any point of time when there's actually a pressure or there's a weight actually act on it, it will actually change the resistance, and then there will be a certain conversion in terms of weight into the this current voltage, so that it actually will know what is the weight when it actually do the conversion. So in terms of the wire strain gauge, it basically has limitation in terms of temperature compensation. So in terms of, like, for example, when the product is basically so-called when the environment actually has a temperature change, there might be actually difference in terms of weighing at different point of the day, depending on how is the temperature. Yep. So on the other hand, in terms of EMFR, which is the electromagnetic force restoration, it actually looks like this. In MT term, it's actually called a monoblock. So what's the difference is that this is actually how the EMFR works. So the main difference I want to emphasize here is that EMFR basically focus a lot on electronics. So it basically, what it do is it actually has optical sensors over here. So any point of time when there's actually a force acting down, when there's a weight, this sensor will actually misalign. So the eye will basically detect that, and then it will actually trigger a certain current to flow through the magnetic coil. So in order to balance this, So the force actually uses on that actually will be in terms of current, and then there will be analog to digital conversion to actually convert from this electrical current into the weight. So in terms of this, because of the more electronics apply on this, so it makes actually the accuracy to be much better than the strain gauge. Okay, so another thing is that the EM-alpha basically also have the temperature compensation. So any point of the time, even when the environment temperature change, even when even the product temperature change, it actually doesn't really affect the weighing. So when we look at what is the pro and cons between the two, so strain gauge load cells basically in terms of the good this advantage is of course very low cost, is a compact sizing. Good accuracy in control environment, if your temperature is controlled well, it's an easy technology to employ. So it's available in many suppliers. So most of the check weighers that you see in the market are mainly using strain gauge. But of course, the disadvantage is that it need to be installed properly within the check weighers. Of course, humidity, temperature, lack of intelligence and onboard. It doesn't have, in a very low signal strength. When you have those like EMI and of course some other electrical noise, it actually will affect the readings. So it's actually non-linear. Okay. So at the other hand is that for EMFR, of course, advantage is that it has excellent accuracy and repeatability. So that's why normally for high speed, just now you see the video, the high speed weighing is normally uses EMFR because the accuracy and the stability that provide will be different. Stronger signals, onboard intelligence, and of course temperature compensation. If it can actually house up to IP69K. Of course, the disadvantage is that it is bigger, so that whenever you see a check weighter that is using an EMFR weight cells, it's actually much bigger. Okay, and of course, it's actually a complex mechanical integration. So not many check weighter manufacturer like to supply this because of the complexity, but of course at the same time you also provide a very good accuracy and this repeatability. Okay, so not many suppliers do that, and of course it's high cost, but at the same time it actually give you a better return on investment because of the accuracy. So yeah, so a short introduction on this. So of course just now we see the two videos. This is another video. Okay, it's a bit blur, but okay. So what happened if strain gauge load cell is used on the high speed weighing? So like just now, the second video, is running at 500 pieces per minute. So what happens if strain gauge load cells is used? So this is what will happen. So this is just it's not a real case, just to show you. If you really use the wrong load cells, with cells in the wrong application, all the product will be rejected. Okay, why? Is because it's not stable and so forth. So this is basically just to inform you is that if the wrong weight cells is used for wrong application, you will basically see a lot of false rejection. Okay, so the next one basically is some of the options. If you are first time or you have not used any check weighter before, then you can actually take note on this. If you're already using some check weighter at your site, it's also good to understand some of this because this will actually enhance the productivity that you have right now. So first of all is that if you are doing cartons, something like this, there is something called a mechanical transfer unit with open flap detection. Normally it's for high speed, cartons weighing, like what you see in the video just now. So it's actually used for safe transfer. It creates the right space. Okay, so many times after your cartoning machine, you may not have the right space, so it's actually do that. You can detect open flaps. So what you see over here with the circle over here is that the flap of this folding box or carton actually opens up. So the check weighter can check this as well. So we can actually reject this product into separate bins. So you can have over underweight in one bin, reject bin, open flap in another bin. Okay, so this is a short video on the mechanical transfer unit. Okay, so what you see over here is a top and bottom grip. So this is basically your cartoning machine. So once it's entered the check weighter, you see that this actually extends into your cartoning machine. So you will ensure the effective transfer of the product over to the check weigher, and at the same time create the required spacing. Okay, so for all these like high speed, you actually ensure that the grip pressure are managed properly so that you don't damage your product. Okay, so at the same time, it actually do the flap detection as well. So this is recommended options if you are actually really going into folding box high speed weighing. The other options is actually we call it SQ packaging package detection. So when you see over here is that what happened if let's say for example, if you don't need the mechanical transfer unit, if you don't purchase it, okay. So what happened if let's say without that, and because of the cutting machine is not working properly, or because you are doing manual feeding, for example, if you feed by hand, manual operator, this will happen. So there's also this option that actually able to detect when this become SQ, that means it's not online. So you reject this into a separate catch bin as well. You will avoid a backup in the next machine. So if your next machine is a case packer, for example, this will actually cause jam. So with this detection, you will actually ensure the product safety. So there's actually this sensor over here that actually do the job. So what happened is that you actually, based on your throughput and the speed, it basically will know that how long it takes when you have a good product, but straight product. So when you have a skewed product, right, that's not online, it will basically takes longer time to cut this sensor. Okay, so because of this, you actually know that it's actually skewed. So that is how it works. Another one is actually successive error detection. So what you do is that when you basically have, like, for example, if let's say someone actually select the wrong product, or for any cases, let's say if you're doing powder or liquid, there's some problem with the filling machine. So consecutively or continuously, when there's more than a certain product that has been rejected, you actually trigger a conveyor stop and a potential free contact. Why is because if let's say you are doing something like 500 pieces per minute, like what you see in the video, if anything happen very fast, you will see the second video that all products will actually goes into the reject bin. So if you don't have this option, without any operator there, the whole line will be jammed. So this basically will help to prevent this. So any point of time when any consecutive or continuous number of product actually being rejected, it will actually trigger a signal and stop the conveyor. Okay. The other one is the backup detection. So any point of time when you're downstream, basically, after the check weigher, if there's anything that backups, for example, if let's say you are using you're doing manual packing. So when the operator, let's say, it's not fast enough to pack the product into the packaging, then there's actually a backup. Basically, this will have a sensor at your conveyor to actually detect this, and then of course also to inform the check weigher to stop and provide a potential free contact. Okay, so what you do is that the sensor, when it detects, like for example, more than 1 second, it will actually give this signal. So it's actually to improve your product process safety as well. Okay, the next one that is also useful for a pharmaceuticals environment is what we call that counter check. So of course, many of you, if you have a check weigher, you know that you basically have something called a reject confirmation or reject verification and bin full sensor. But in fact, actually, that is not important. That is not all that you need. It's very important, but that is not all that you need. You will also need this counter check, so that it actually ensure that bad product do not enter. So at the point of time is, let's say this sensor is not working, you will have another sensor that detect that a bad product will not pass through this good path. Okay. You also ensure that that a good product has not been removed from the line. So if this product is supposed to be good, it should pass through this sensor. If it don't pass through, somehow or other, it been removed from the line, the sensor will actually give a signal as well. And of course, there's no additional product that pass through. So this product that's been weighed, it should cut through this sensor at a certain time. If not, then if more than one product has actually been put in by the operator, this sensor will know it. Okay, so there's some of the options that actually will help to enhance productivity. In short, is that it basically prevent something like a production line jam, or in terms of like, any product that is actually been additional put in. So the other one is local audit trail. I think audit trail is a common term in pharmaceuticals. So the check weigher will basically have this as well. So it basically has a historic documentation. It lists down all the activities and as well as what has been changed, who changed and what have been changed and when has been changed. So the good thing is that, of course, based on 29 CFR Part 11, it should not be able to be modified or override the data. So it operates completely, automatically in the background. So similar to what you see in a metal detector, this audit trail function basically also work in check weigher. So it's possible to export this into a USB. Okay, so that will be provided when you get this option. So data can be into two different formats, XML. So XML, as you know, that you basically can do the CRC, or we call that the redundancy check. So it's not be able to edit. Of course, at the same time, you can also have CSV file. You can actually use this for your own reportings. So so this is an example of what you see in the check weigher in terms of the audit trail. So what it gives, it gives the index for each entry, date, timestamp, login name. Of course, login name similar to the metal detector as well. It will have your own login name. It will not be shared. What are the modification area parameters and old and new parameters? Okay. EQ pack, same for metal detectors as well. So EQ pack will be available for all our product inspection equipment, including the check weigher. So what it do, so EQ pack basically, if some of you have been wondering what does EQ stand for, it's actually equipment qualification. So it actually consists of the DQ, design installation, qualification, DQ, IQ, operation and performance, OQ and PQ, and as well as the MQ, the maintenance qualification. It actually ensure the compliance and reduce risk, in providing this standardized protocol in accordance to the good manufacturing practice guidelines. So the purpose of these documents is also to verify that equipment meet the functional and performance criteria. So in case of, let's say, if you require the FDS and in terms of alarm list, these are also available. And of course, most important is that the qualification will be done by our factory certified engineers. So in Indonesia, of course, you have the peace of mind because it's actually you're dealing with the manufacturer. I mean, we are the manufacturer, Melat Toledo ourselves. So all our engineers are basically factory certified. We don't say factory trained because they are trained, but they need to also gone through a series of tests before they can be certified. So so we obviously ensure that all our engineers are not only trained but certified by our factory in order to conduct all these high level of qualifications for your equipment. Okay, so that's about it for check weigher. Erwin, how do you want to? Maybe you can proceed with the Q&A.
Oke, thank you Ken. Bapak Ibu sekalian, kita mungkin akan buka session untuk pertanyaan baik dari materi metal detector untuk pharma, baik yang setelah mesin press ataupun sebelum mesin press. Jika kemudian Bapak Ibu juga ada pertanyaan yang berhubungan dengan fitur-fitur yang tadi disampaikan oleh Pak Darren, pertama mengenai adanya fasilitas untuk EQ, IQ, OQ, dan PQ pack-nya dari Metal Toledo untuk memberikan value